Hi, my name is Brianna Munoz and I will be applying for a spiritual life student leadership position. And to answer the first question as to what is the main point of John 1 through 5, well, as I read over the passage, I was able to discover that this passage is talking about the Word becoming the flesh. Reading verse 1, it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning." Okay, so to me, this really stood out because it really made me realize that God could have not existed without the Word, and the Word could have not existed without God. As I read further, verse 3 says, "Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made." So if we know that the Word aligned with God and God aligned with the Word, we know that all things were made. So this can go back to Genesis, where God creates the earth in a matter of 7 days with the rest day at the end. And we can just see how beautifully, creation comes to be, and God becomes part of that. Of course, the Word was so powerful that all things were made. That is just how evident His power is, and that is just saying the importance of God and the Word together. As we move in further, verse 4 says, "In him was life, and life was the light of men." So now verse 4 is taking a twist because it's saying in him was life, and that life was the life of men. So right here I can point out that this is talking about the flesh. We are not talking in terms of spirituality anymore. Now we're talking about God becomes the flesh. So God sends His only Son, Jesus, because Jesus was the one to walk on earth, and He becomes the light on this earth. He is the light that shines upon men, which is what the verse is saying. And verse 5 says, "The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not understood it." So now we are emphasizing that the light shines in the darkness. At the beginning of creation, there was darkness. There was no light. So God even created the light. And that was really important in terms of having light and darkness exist. But here we're talking about spiritual darkness. We're talking about those who do not know of the love of Christ. So therefore we needed things to change. We needed this world to change from darkness to light. So by that we have Jesus come in flesh and speak light into our lives and speak of His power and of His love. And I love how this can relate to my life and how this could relate to the life of others, because the moment I decided to accept Christ, I decided to accept His light. I decided to accept that God, the Son, and the Father were all in one, and that they were going to be all powerful over my life and become really evident as I walked with God in my life. And so that was going to create light. I was going to become light wherever I would go, and people would be able to see that. People would be able to encounter that light and probably even question it, which is a good thing. And that can take me back to Matthew 5:13 all the way to verse 16. And that's talking about salt and light. And a great verse that I really love is verse 14, because it says, "You're light of the world, a city on a hill. You are light of the world, a city on a hill cannot be hidden." And it's so true. We are light of the world. The minute we decided to accept Jesus Christ in our heart, we become light. We become so evident that we cannot hide it. And, when God was on earth, when Jesus was on earth, He could not be hidden. He was always being talked about. He was a popular man, and He became light onto this earth by portraying Himself and by speaking of the great works of God. And so that is who we are. The minute we accept Christ, we accept light into our lives that will reflect who Jesus is, and therefore others will question about our light. And we cannot be hidden. We stand tall, and God makes us stand tall in order to be recognized and for His glory to be recognized. This applies to the lives of others in a way where it applies to my life. So it becomes a domino effect where I become light, somebody else recognizes that light, wants that light, and we'll hit somebody else with that light, and so forth and so on. It keeps taking on a domino effect where it becomes contagious, and it is a light that just illuminates everyone's life, and it transforms you completely. So those were my responses as to what is the main point of Jesus, or what is the main point of John, sorry. And number 2, how would you apply this to your own life and to the lives of others? Thank you.